All right, let's go live. We go with that, God dog it.
We ain't even no. Hey, we live. Ain't no 30-second countdown. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to Free Thinkers. Conversation started getting spicy, and we was like, "Let's go in." And I think especially for me and Nikki, we really officially been off for a few weeks, so I think we both ready already. Anyway,
Right.
Because we've been. That sabbatical get you hungry.
Yeah, we never take this much time off ever. Like, I don't think in the entire time we've been doing this have we ever had this many consecutive Tuesdays off in a row. I was like, oh, this is what seasons are like. This is what people do when they do seasons of a show. We've never done that, but appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us and hitting me up on random Tuesdays. Y'all doing a show tonight because it was missed. We had a busy summer. We had a busy summer, so it's nice to be able to take a couple weeks off and come back and have this energy.
Okay, so everybody know the rules. If you don't know the rules, once you get on, hop on with us, and we'll remind you of the rules once we get in there. But get earbuds, something to listen to. Make sure your phone muted when you don't want nobody to hear nothing you don't want to say. Blah blah blah. You got all that. Like, share, follow. Especially if it's 10 minutes in, you still listening. You need to like and share that to somebody. If it's right now, you ain't got to. But by the time you've been listening for that long, share with somebody else. Got it? And then also make sure you invite people to the page and go to the page. We also have good conversation. Now, part of that conversation that we talking about, since me and Nikki have not usually the live show also works as an outlet. So we have lots of conversation on the thread. We kind of get it out, get our thoughts out and opinions out. And I feel like, excuse my lack of a better term, some of us, especially who like to get on live, been suffering from a little constipation. We backed up a little bit because we ain't been able to get all the stuff out that we usually able to release.
We backed up a little bit.
Backed up a little bit. Ivory don't like that term, but it fits. It does apply.
No.
I
mean, it's ugly when you think about what it's used in reference to. So,
right. It fits. Listen, Ivory know that I used to be a rapper. I know how to make the metaphors work.
Backed up, it's not funny.
There's that part.
The metaphors work. So even as we started getting on, so Nikki and I, we said, since we hadn't been on for a while, then let's pick a post. Usually that's the best way to go if we don't know exactly what to talk about. And there's been so many things to talk about over the last few weeks that we didn't get a chance to touch on. So now as I get on to pick a post and remind y'all that I'm not on social media as much as y'all think I am. So even as much as I love free thinkers, I'm periodic when I jump in, and then you may see me just commenting on everything. That's because I hadn't been on in a while. Then I go back and look at things. So as I got ready to do a pick-up post, I'm like, let me look at the things. Because Nikki and I wanted to have, let's try to see if we can get through 7 topics, since there's so much stuff we hadn't talked about. I know it's a stretch, but I'm like, let's go for it. We could do it. We broke the time down. We do about 13 minutes each topic. We can make it work. As I started to go through all of the different topics, I noticed a reoccurring trend on the Free Thinkers page. There has been a lot of, how do I say this? Gender war type of stuff. And surprisingly,
is it a war? Or is
it seemed like
it?
Hey, somebody's somebody's declaring war. I don't know.
Declaring war. Okay, I thought two sides needed to engage in a war, but I'm listening.
And more specifically, in the last couple weeks that I looked at, it's been more men using posts and memes and threads to come at women's necks, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. It seems excessive. It also seems deliberate, and it also seems very leaning. What I mean leaning, there's a clear bias, and this is not level subjective memes that's being put out here. They're definitely coming from one direction. So before we got on live, that's what we were starting to talk about. Hey, what is this? What meaneth these things? Where is this coming? I'm going back to my preacher. What meaneth these things? What thou meaneth this? So that's where we am. We were getting full-fledged into the conversation. Like, oh, we need to go ahead and go live and jump right in. So now we are here Do y'all want me to keep going, or somebody else want to jump in as far as what are you seeing on the thread? And let's pick up where we left off in the conversation before we went live.
I like the fact that you as a man are pointing this out, and you as a man are noticing this, right? Like, I think that maybe it's easier for women to be receptive, or maybe not even receptive, but just feel some of the energy that you feel in some statements. Right. So I think collectively women, we think that, oh, well, another woman can see it, men don't. And I know that that's like generic thinking, right? But just for the fact that because we never talked about this until like 5 minutes ago. We haven't talked about this. We didn't rehearse this conversation. We haven't talked much at all in weeks because we haven't been doing the show, right? So like, we don't even know where each other is right now, right? But like the fact that you are a man and a male, and you are definitely seeing something is intriguing to me, because that doesn't always happen that way. So so eventually, as we get more into this, I speak from a couple different places, but I definitely want to acknowledge that and appreciate you for that, because I can guarantee you that women have had this conversation.
And quickly, bigger picture, I always like to go, if anybody who know me, I've said this plenty of times, I don't like persuasive information that tries to intentionally get you to lean one way, no matter what that way is. The whole persuasive type of one-way leading arguments or memes, I don't like those. And I tell people, even as much as I love documentaries, if I sniff any documentary is trying to get you to see a thing a specific way than really being level, I'll cut it off, because I'm like, I don't need your opinion trying to lead mine. Just give me the facts,
right? Tell
me what it is, and then I want to be able to make a clean opinion for myself.
Right.
So I push back, not just when it comes to that, but I push back on everything when I see you got a clear agenda in place with the things that you're doing, and you're trying to get me to see things one-sided versus encouraging me to be a free thinker. So go ahead.
Well, that was pretty much it. It's intriguing, it's refreshing that you are seeing this, and this conversation that hasn't taken place. Because it's, I don't know why, Jules, it's not showing up. Like, I clearly can see it on my laptop, and it does not show up on StreamYard. But Jules says, I thought it was just me as a woman seeing the trend. And so again, and because women may gather consciously and unsubconsciously, differently than men do, it's easy to think that, right? It's easy to think that could also be us exaggerating, or that could be us in our feelings, or that could be us just doing what women do, right? But it's not. So again, I personally want to speak from a couple of different spaces when we talk about more about, kind of some of the things that we're seeing, because I do believe that there are two sides to every coin. But I appreciate you for acknowledging that, because if we really are trying to be in a solution-based mindset, which I think is a free thinker, you kind of have to be solution-based as opposed to problem-based. Like you have to be more forward-thinking than not. If you want to be a part of the solution, then you literally have to be a part of the solution. Like, yeah, we got to call out the shit first, and we got to address the things on the table, but we still have to be solution-based. And that's actually something that I got out of one of these conversations that I've had the last couple of days with a very transparent and honest man.
What was that you got out? Elaborate on that. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Tell me this first. What does MGTOW mean? What does that mean?
Q is MG. Q is I don't even know what that one is. That's new. Most of the things.
Demetrius, you gotta tell me what that means. You just kidding, so it sounds like you're trying to throw a shot of troll at me or whatever. But let me know what that means, even so I know.
Well, and let me say this before he even say what it means, because I can just imagine.
I really have no idea. I'm trying to put
I don't either. I'm stumped on that one.
When I say I could just imagine, and I hope none of these people who are posting this take this the wrong way. These spaces have become as bad as Fox News at this point. And when I say as bad as Fox News, it's like you can just look at 3 of them and know the talking points for the month. And you don't realize it's 100 of y'all out there and you have the same 10 talking points because we know you're watching all of the same things and getting all of the same information.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You're being given your thoughts about what it means from these videos you see and these conclusions you make. And 10 people are giving you what to think about these things. How do we know that a few people are giving you what to think about these things? Because you keep all making the exact same arguments with the exact same words, with the exact same phrases. And so, yeah, it's just like an ideology at a certain point. Like, it's as bad as Fox News at this point.
So,
like,
but with that, I don't think people
thought.
give you your thoughts, though. I don't think people give you your thoughts. I think what happens is, because of whatever your experiences, your upbringing, background, whatever, you already have a preset thought in your mind and you are attracted to, and you hold on to those thoughts that agree with your mindset.
Well, this is
so in the same like manner, you can't feed me anything that I don't like. No, that doesn't agree with me, my appetite, my diet, my mindset, whatever. It's like, so if what you try to feed me is poison, then I'll spit it out.
No, you're saying that as a strong-minded person. Think about people who have been watching Fox News for 10 years. Do you think they turned on that station with the thoughts that they have right now?
Right. It's just manipulating. It's called programming for a reason.
It's called being brainwashed. It's called being indoctrinated.
But the first part is
somebody give you your thoughts.
No, but it still has to agree. So the first part, ruled the roots. So let's stay with the Republican Democrat thing. Number one, for them to indoctrinate you, you got to feel like America is already becoming too progressive. They're trying to take away capitalism. They're trying to they're trying to give equal rights to everyone when things were already fine the way they are. See, before you become a Republican, you can have that mindset. And once these people start saying these things to you, all it's doing is reinforcing that mindset. And then they're able to start maneuvering into
adding
the
things.
Political party side of it. But that mindset already existed in you. That's why it's so easy. You'll find out most, not most, but many, like even Hispanics, most of them are Republican because most of them are Catholic. And Catholics, I'm just saying. Let me finish my point though. Catholics wholeheartedly are against abortion or any type of, even to the point of birth control. They don't believe that you should interfere with that at all. So if that's at the core of your belief, no matter what a Democrat says, oh, you guys believe in abortion, I can never. So now this other party believes the same thing that you believe, and it's easy. You've aligned yourself with them for that one reason, and now you're able to be indoctrinated in all these other belief systems.
That's all but I'm saying we're agreeing. We're not saying two different things. I'm saying a man can hurt a woman and she can go and listen to something to find some relief from that hurt feeling. And it feels good for somebody to say, men ain't ish because you're hurt. Now, everything they say after that, as you continue to listen to them day after day after day, they are now giving you what to think about being hurt about a man. And I'm saying it's the same thing for these guys.
Right.
They're telling them, okay, you've had bad experiences with women. You don't like how you see things are going in the dating world or your dating world. This is how you should think about it. And you keep listening to that mess. And now they've given you your thoughts.
So yeah, I agree. The part B of what you're talking about is right. I guess I just included the part A. You can only get to that part if you already have a pre-mindset on how you feel. Now, Demetrius, you ain't got to be joking. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I am a man that's going their own way. So what Jay-Z said, I saw the fork in the road and went straight. That's what look, I'm trying to go my own way. So
that's how we got here.
Wholeheartedly.
You are a man going your own way. You're right.
I agree with that completely. And then Demetrius, I don't know what you're doing. You've been on before. You feel free to jump on if you want to. Feel free to jump on. I was about to say something. I forgot. Oh, Nikki, did you finish saying what you were saying? Because you said you were having a conversation. Now, let me say this, and then you can jump back in. You kind of started before we went live, and then my thought to you was, because if people asking you like, "Hey, help me make it make sense," my question becomes, why are you asking someone or the gender that you like? Why not ask another man to help you make it make sense? Because it's like I get why you would ask a woman, but then
that's what the confusion is. That's what the barrier is. It's not a man can't tell another man about women. A woman can tell another man about women. A woman can teach a man. And it isn't even a teaching thing, right? But it's a man and women issue that we're talking about. And if men continue to keep reaching a brick wall, and if outsourced all possible ways, sure. So let me reach out to a woman. And I like to believe I'm a pretty fucking logical woman, right? So most men know that regardless of whether you agree with my philosophies or not, or you agree with the fact I think the earth is flat or not, or you agree with what I feel about vaccines and food and shit like that, as a woman, I'd like to believe I come as a pretty whole woman to be able to have conversations, to break things down, not emotionally, versus using logic, and also being realistic to where men are. I know good men. I know wonderful men. I know, you know what I'm saying? So Nikki, I come from a different space.
But Nikki, this is my point with that though. My question comes in to where the fact that a person has to ask you, like, you come from a well-rounded space. You in yourself, if these people know you, should be an example that not all women are this way that I'm trying to portray them on these posts that I'm putting out there.
True.
So obviously, let me go a little step further. Even the people who are putting posts up here, whether it's man or a woman, in this case, it's more men doing some woman hating type stuff. You put this up here like this is what all women are, and this is how they operate, and this is how they think now. And clearly, you have real life personal examples of people who are not that way. Right. So how could you still continue to put these posts up, pushing it as if that's what it is? So now I'm going a little step further. It makes me think, when you say help me understand, do you really want to understand? Because I don't think you'd listen if I did help you understand.
I think that some do. I think that because a person's hurt can be what it is, because a person's hurts can be what they are, it blocks things. Your pains and your traumas affect how you hear and receive and understand things. And so sometimes you have to go outside of your normal sources to get a message, to be able to speak a different language, possibly, to be able to experience something different, because maybe your experiences have just been that they're all bad. They're just all fucking bad.
I think sometimes it works in reverse depending on certain things.
I think it could.
So it's like, if you can't so I'll give you a simple example. So if we bring race into the card, white people love to do let me ask a black person, help me understand this and this and that. But if you don't truly respect me, or you're not really trying to understand me, anything that I tell you is not going to be received in a way that you can hear it. So then I'd be on Ivory Train. She's like, look, go Google it. I'm going to give you this book. You read it, do some research, and then I come back. Now, let me say this, Nikki.
You know I'm done.
But Nikki, let me give you an example. It's certain things in group settings that we've had over the years that me and other people have said, as black people have said ad nauseum. But then you say those same, or you call a person out about their tendencies or views, and they get way more offended from hearing you say it than they do, because for some reason it was easier for them to dismiss what we were saying. But you being another white person and hearing it come from you, it hit them a whole lot differently. They were like, "Oh man, I don't
Well,
know
so
about
doesn't
that,
that
Nikki."
so can't that prove the sentiment that you just said? Why not ask men? Why instead of asking a woman?
That's my that was my point. If you really want to
It's
learn,
different. Maybe the conversation, the way that the conversation takes place. And I mean, I just appreciate that I get people, men and women, who will literally come with some of the stuff that we're talking about to me for an understanding, and maybe that is a situation where somebody's world is very small and they're not associating with a lot of people on the masses who have different experiences with people. Some people are fucking still shell shocked and they rather just stay in their safe space as opposed to encounters with the opposite sex, because the encounters with the opposite sex or whatever they're attracted to has burned them, and people are burning the shit out of people today. People are using and manipulating and lying and being horrible to each other. And then you take out these hurts and you take out all these bloody wounded people, and then you throw them onto social media. And so here we have these podcasts, we
social
have
media is a killer, man. I'm telling
social
you,
media is fucking horrible, dude. It is. It's ruined us. It has served its purpose, and it has ruined us. We now have to fight these systems to have regular relationships. We were already fighting for good relationships before social media. Now we're literally fighting the Fox News is, and I don't mean Fox News, I mean the programming of what, like Ivory was talking about, these shows or these podcasts, these lanes where you have men haters and women haters and haters of any sort, right? But certainly men and women, since that's what we're talking about in this particular conversation, where you've got people who are in that space who will unfortunately be just the right person for that platform. And now everything that those people say, those hurt, wounded, tragic, toxic people say, is fucking gold somehow. And then stuff like this is like, whatever.
Okay, here's my question, and Ivory, you can jump in. How do you tell a person? Because it seems like when you try to, people are going to get more offended, like, you're hurt. And when you tell a person that they're hurt, then they like get even more defensive.
How dare you? Yeah.
And it's like, but you don't understand. Everybody sees this except for you.
Oh, but that's denial.
I'm not gonna say. It's like, what's the point in telling somebody they hurt? It's a trigger. Some things you say it, you automatically have triggered a person, and the conversation is over. So telling somebody they hurt is a conversation.
Is it good to trigger people sometimes?
No.
Like, do some people need to be triggered?
Not if you want to have a conversation with them. It's not good to trigger them. Now, if you just want to say what you want to say and move on, sure, why not?
But okay, so sometimes
for conversational purposes, it's not good.
Not for conversation. Sometimes you need to say it and just let them sit with it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, sometimes conversation, because then people would try to, well, let me tell you what I mean, and get defensive. But I'm like, hey, listen, I want to leave you with something. You seem triggered, and you seem clearly hurt about something in your past that you haven't dealt with. I think you probably need to examine that.
That's too much. That's too much. That's too much.
No. But then it's like,
you just dug a knife in them.
I want to.
Yeah, but you
think about it.
But you got to think about the intention, though. You got to think about who you're talking to, right? They're already not going to receive the message properly. So if you want to somehow communicate that in a remotely effective way.
What part I said was too much?
You should go take a look at that. You still got some shit you work on.
Do some examining.
Like, yes, that's
no.
true.
Well, that's my way of exiting off the phone. Like, you're not going to be able to have this conversation with me. I want you to reflect on this.
So there's that.
We've had this conversation
next week if you feel it. So now you got to. That's the other thing. See, the other, like,
I use
back in the day.
Spot. It's not as
when you would write somebody
they might have a blind spot.
I like blind spot.
You remember back in the day, high schools, you would write somebody a letter.
Yeah.
And all they could do was read the letter, and they couldn't respond right. They just had to read it and reflect for a second. And they had to sit in it for a while. And them conversations, like, you know what, I read I read what you said a few times, and at first I ain't, girl, but then I read it again, and I read it again, and I read it again, and it made me think. Oh, now when you had to sit with your thoughts, and let the emotion come down off of what was initially said. Then you think about it a little bit. Sometimes I think some people just need that type of thing.
I'll give you some of that. Because our instant gratification today does not even allow that to happen. We instantly react and then boom, that must be the truth. No, it's not. Go sit the fuck down for a second and like process some things first and then come back. But so I'll give you that for that. But
I mean, I don't know.
Triggering is just dangerous. It's inflammatory. You don't want to be inflammatory.
But what do you mean triggering? Hold on, Nikki. They're already triggered, Nikki.
Yeah, but you just have to be very careful with people. You just have to be very careful with that. You got to really know how to handle people in triggered situations to handle people in triggered situations.
I agree, but they're already triggered.
Listen, I just stopped myself from commenting on one of them posts because I was just going to say, man, you really hate ladies, don't you? And I stopped myself because I said that's not a conversation starter.
Hold on.
That's not gonna achieve.
Let me ask you a question,
here,
Ivory, Nikki, and I think Nikki's probably gonna be different because Nikki's the master of getting put in jail. How many times have you written out a whole paragraph of kind of letting, and then I got to the end of it
and delete.
I've
done it.
I do that all the time.
Now,
and then I just be like, okay.
I used to not.
Like you had no idea everything that was just about to get sent.
Somebody just posted something, and I didn't even watch it because in the title they had already called the girl a dummy, and so for me, like the whatever kind of hate you have for ladies was like, I don't even need to watch the post because. Right. Like your hate is bleak. Like, so I wouldn't trust anything you post, even if it has some truth in it, because of how much you hate ladies.
Right.
I mean, yes, but sometimes, but I be calling people dummies sometimes too, and I mean it. Like, it be some dumbass shit people do, but some things I definitely. I don't know. I guess some things I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have to gather my thoughts on things after words for the most part. And I'm grateful I've been able to like hone that because I didn't used to. I just would fucking fly off the rip with whatever my thoughts were. And I never intended to be hurtful to people, but I know that it's easy to hurt people. I know how to hurt people really, really well if I wanted to, but I don't want to, right? So I'm mindful of the words I choose. So when you see things like that, so we're referring to some of the comments in the post where it is a repetitive,
hate,
bitterness. Bitterness. I mean, that's really the best word I can come up with. And bitterness comes from experiences of being fucking burned. I get it. But if I walked around with the attitude that some of the men I see posting about women, you would definitely call me a fucking man hater. And I don't think anybody calls me a man hater. Like, I might hate some shit men do, and I'll call out some bum ass dude shit. But like, I don't hate men. I fucking love men. I think men are phenomenal. And I've always stood by that. So I've been fucked over, burned, cheated on, done dirty as shit by dudes. But like, I also have, figured out what my part of the fucking problem is so that I don't repeat those cycles of shitty men. And I don't even want to say shitty men. What they really are broken men. What they really are still injured men. What they really are men who have wounds that haven't been tended to. But I totally forgot my train of thought. I know what the fuck we're talking about, but I totally forgot my train of thought. But you definitely see it. And so bitter is just the best word I can come up with because that's based on whatever experience that they've had. But that is not going to help attract women. That is not going to no women of any fucking quality are going to run for that. They're going the other direction. They're running away from that.
Listen, Nikki, if a quality woman even met you, and these are the thoughts that are swirling in your mind, and whatever you're ingesting and putting in your heart is going to proceed. It's going to bow from you. There's no way out of it. So if you ingesting all of this, it's coming out eventually. I would run, and any quality woman would run from anybody who talks like this, who puts this kind of, even if somebody met you and you seem like a nice guy, and they said, let's exchange social media. And they got on your page or see the things you posted. No quality woman will want to deal with you. And then it goes the other way. For women, need to watch that. If you constantly posting stuff about people talking bad about men, and you got all these posts, and you seem bitter and you seem hurt, and somebody sees that, even if they're looking from afar, they're gonna be like, "Oof, no thanks."
People don't realize, or maybe they do, and they just are, but they don't care.
That's what I wonder, Nick. I'm like, do you actually want to be in a relationship?
They can't.
I just don't. I question.
Well, no, they do, but they want that person to fix them. And I think some people don't even know that they need fixing, but it's obviously there. Like, I literally just had this conversation with somebody earlier today about, just the women that different men choose. And I think that, I think one of the quotes that I struggle with the most is where it says something like, you attract what you are, you attract what you need in your life or something. And it's something like that. And it was something like, dear God, I know I'm not no sorry ass bitch, or something like that. Because it was like, wait a minute, I'm attracting these sorry bitches, but I'm not a sorry bitch. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, how is it? So I can't possibly be attracting what I am, because I know that I'm not that, right? But like, so I don't even know. I don't even think it's so much that, as much as it is people are just wounded in 2023. People are just fucking wounded for a host of reasons. And I don't know what is making our healing process so much more challenging today than maybe what it was before, or if we're just looking at the whole entire fucking thing completely different, like the looking at the elephant from every different angle, everybody sees it differently. I don't know, because people definitely acknowledge being in pain. People acknowledge being unhappy. People acknowledge being single, because dating absolutely fucking sucks. But then you see people still bleeding on other people. So I don't know what is stopping us from getting better as a whole, but it's significantly highlighted, and maybe that's because of social media. I don't know, but people are injured. People are hurt today.
I was gonna say too. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
to your point though, Nikki, I don't think it's necessarily that you attract what you are, but I will say people need to pay attention that if something truly doesn't match your energy, your purpose, your goals, if something is truly kind of detestable to you, there's no way that you would let a person like that spend any time in your space as soon as you find out. So then you have to ask yourself, once it all blows up, right? Whether it takes a week, 2 weeks, a month, what about this person's behaviors were not detestable to me? Because sometimes people say, I mean, I know I'm not, and maybe you're not, but this person was displaying behaviors that should not have been okay with you.
Right.
And for a time period, they were. And you have to ask yourself why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's part of a healing journey, right? That's part of a healing process. And I feel like today, a lot of folks like to say that they're on a healing journey, and who the fuck am I to tell you whether you are or you are not, right? Like, that is not my place to take your inventory. However, I do know that actions have to match words. And I do know that, if you put things into play, if you put the seed into the ground and you water the tree, it will eventually grow fruit, right? Like there will be some fruition to your works, right? So who am I to tell you what you aren't doing in your healing journey? But I think that a lot of people are not maximizing their healing opportunity. And I read a quote years ago when I first left my kid's dad that said, a lot of y'all shouldn't be fucking or dating, and you should literally just be healing. And I wholeheartedly believe that. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not in a relationship,
It's
so
never
I'm
gonna
still in my
happen, but
healing
yeah, it's true.
process. Do what?
I said it's never gonna happen, but yeah, if you tell a person they need to heal and get themselves together before they date or have sex, it's not gonna happen at all.
But a lot of people have obviously dipped their toes in and tried to date a few people and see what works and what doesn't work. And a lot of people, men and women, have just kind of fell back to a space of, I'm not entertaining nobody. I'm just doing me right now. I'm not worried about sex. I'm not like, I'm celibate, but I'm not like shooting down anything, if I like something coming my way, but I'm just not fucking around just to be fucking around. I'm not going to spend my energy or my body count with somebody just to not be lonely. And up until, by the time you hit your 40s and you've been parenting for a while, you've had enough bad relationships, or you've lost a parent or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you don't even realize that those are places you need to go to get to a better place, to grow the fuck up, to treat people better, to acknowledge that you got some more work to do on your journey.
So I have a question. Let me ask a question. So, as free thinkers,
right,
do you feel personally that you have a responsibility to educate, to redirect, to bring clarity to, or is your obligation to think freely and tell people you need to get on the free train of thought train, to where, hey, you sound like you regurgitating talking points from a whole bunch of people who make their lifestyle off of entertaining people at your expense. That's what it sounds like. You need to work on getting your own free thoughts. You need to read more books. You need a wider array of friends. You need more friends. You need to work on actual conversation instead of just tweeting and DMing people all the time. You need some real conversations, because it sounds like your mindset is being constricted by the lack of material that you're listening to. Which conversation is the conversation that, as free thinkers, you feel you should have?
Well, I would say, for me, if you're not going to join an actual conversation like we're having, then you'll probably get the second conversation from me. Now, people who are willing and open to talk and communicate, like, I don't come at them like that. Like, I'm very open to just having an open dialogue where we share ideas, and I want to hear what yours are. I can tell you what mine are, and see if we can get to a better place of understanding. But if you just gonna be on the internet spewing hate, then yeah, you just gonna get it how it comes.
And you know what? Because I know some people are just hateful, or some people are bitter. That part don't bother me. That's just human. That's human nature. But I do, as someone who frequents this page, I do feel in any situation, I feel an obligation to give balance when I feel that one side is being pushed over the other.
Oh, for free thinkers page.
Yes, that's what I said. As a free thinker.
Yeah, I don't care what you do on your own page. I just won't visit. But I don't care what you do on your own page. But on free thinkers page, yes, I would like to. But I'm saying you probably get the second one if it's just spewing hate. It's probably gonna be me being like, hey, these talking points, right? Hey, this is like woman hate, right? I mean, you the one put it out there like that. You didn't put it out in a nuanced way. You didn't put it out in a conversational way.
That's true.
So why do I have to approach it that way?
It's true. Can't disagree with that. You bought the paint. So it's like if you